Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us today as we are on our second day of Holy Week and observing Good Friday as we move towards Easter Sunday and the celebration of the resurrection and ascension. So today we're focusing on what it was like to be with and to experience from the perspective of Mary Magdalena and Mother Mary and all of the other women, the disciples, and those faithful followers who were on that walk, the way of the cross with Jesus as he walked to his crucifixion. And also focusing on how that's been so relevant for all of us today. And so I am Megan McGowan. I am a Magdalena practitioner as well as a Magdalena teacher in becoming. And I am delighted to be here with my Magdalena sister, Caroline. Caroline, so happy to be here together.
Yes, it's a great honor to be here with you all today and with you, Megan, co-creating this moment together. I'm also a Magdalena practitioner and a teacher in becoming, and that's a privilege to be serving you today. So we would like to take you on with us on a journey, on a very sacred journey. How we do imagine how it must have been for all the women, for everyone, but since our focus is on Mary Magdalena and the women who served Jesus on the last hour of his physical presence on earth, we would like to take us on how we think it must have been like, how we feel it must have been like on that specific day, 2022 years ago, but not 22, 1,989 years ago. Anyhow, what's your vision, Megan? How do you see, what's the picture or the video that comes to your mind when you're trying to embrace the feeling of being Mary Magdalena or Mother Mary on that day?
Yeah, so here we are walking this path. I mean, he has been, everybody's shouting and saying, crucify him. And so here is Mary Magdalena, and this is her beloved Master Jesus. And just that feeling of the anger and, that is present in the crowd as they begin that walk, and just seeing Jesus carrying that, in the pictures that I've seen of it, the rugged hewn, piercing his skin, and the weight of the cross itself, and having to bear that by himself. And I just feel the pain and the anguish that only I can imagine she would have been feeling. Yeah.
Yes. And for having had the great chance in my life to have been in Jerusalem, in the old city of Jerusalem, I walked within those really narrow walls where there's literally no air. You cannot breathe. The walls are super high. There was a crowd. I experimented a crowd 2013. I can only imagine how the crowd and the noise and the heat and the pain and having to manage my own fear, having to manage my, the overwhelming sense of helplessness in those conditions.
Yes, and Mother Mary, I mean, I know from being a mother, this is her son. I mean, and the pain that he is experiencing, and knowing also both Magdalena and Mother Mary that this is a divine plan. And in spite of, here is this Son of God, and he is being, the blasphemy, called names, and people jeering at him, and yet knowing, again, when you talk about the helpless, they're so helpless to do anything to assist him. And as we know, we can't carry the cross for anybody else, and she couldn't take that from him, but she could be there with him and present with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably, depending on, because there's many books, many beautiful stories about Mary Magdalena and the women around her, and grandmother Anna, for example, and the training that some say that they had, the training to reach this level of consciousness that make you see from another dimension or another level what's happening. So probably a kind of like you're not so attached to the appearance of what's happening, and you know a little more deep inside, or on a broader perspective, the what's really taking place. But despite that,
yes, we are human. We are in these human bodies, and we have these human feelings, and so they're very present. And even as Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane that we know about, praying and asked to have this burden taken from him. I mean, even knowing that this could not be changed, because feeling what that would be like. So yes.
I'm trying to find for myself what kind of internal resource of what would have been my way of not going crazy with what's going on. And the only thing I can think of is a greater faith that at any other moment of my life, a greater surrendering, or my ability to surrender amplified, because
Yes, and Mary Magdalena, we know how she committed. I mean, her faith. I mean, knowing that she left her family and followed Jesus because she had so much faith. She believed so much, and that she could be in that energy beyond the human pain and fear, and having that faith that this is the divine plan. This is what was determined for the two of them, to bring that divine feminine energy onto the planet. I mean, that was the plan for
this
us
is what,
today.
yeah, this is what I signed up for. We signed up for this. We signed up for this. So 2000 and something years later, a group of beautiful beings like us can start remembering who we are.
Yes. Yes. And step in those shoes and be the Mary Magdalenas. And as we'll explore further, those qualities of Mary Magdalena.
Yes. And just, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and just to really honor those the faithfulness of, it was Mary Magdalena and Mother Mary and so many other women that believed and had that faith, that supported him by their presence.
By their presence.
Yeah.
And speaking of all these women, I'm going to read a little section of, unfortunately we don't know the origin, but it's beautiful. It's about who were the women with Mary Magdalena. Who were these women? These women were on enemy turf. They stood among the Roman soldiers, identified with the condemned, outnumbered by their enemies, and in the very midst of the most dangerous place in the world. Those women who looked on from afar were courageous, loyal women. Yet Mary, the Lord's mother, was nearer still, right at her son's side, to the end. This must have been the piercing of her own soul. These women did not give way to fear. They stayed and witnessed the Lord's death, and so must we. We must stand near these women who stood near the cross as Jesus died. They're good company. They did not run away. They stayed and they watched. They saw Jesus laid in the tomb. Even though these women may have been feeling fear, nothing could keep them away. Not darkness, not death, not soldiers. These are our mothers in the faith, the women of Good Friday.
So let's just all take a moment. I'm inviting you to bring your awareness inside to our hearts. I'm closing the eyes if you choose, but let's just be in silence for a moment to really honor in the remembrance with such great gratitude these women, our beloved Magdalena, Mother Mary, those disciples, and those faithful ones for their commitment. And let's take a breath in together. And exhaling in gratitude. And I invite you to picture Mary Magdalena. Yes, she was someone who would be feeling all of those human feelings and the emotions, the fear, the pain, and the suffering. And at the same time, she knew in her divine heart that this is what was to be. It could not be changed. This was part of the divine plan. The Magdalena that we know possessed qualities that make her this role model for us today. Qualities that we all possess as well. And can use these qualities when we are walking our own path, bearing our own cross of our own experiences, or walking that path with our loved ones. The qualities she demonstrated were that incredible strength and courage to stand strong in the face of her fears. You know, not letting her fears or the threat of those who were opposing Jesus keep her from being with him, supporting him with her physical and her divine presence. She also demonstrated this great love and compassion for her beloved, and her steadfast faith and commitment in remembering, yes, this is their purpose. This is this greater plan of returning the divine feminine awareness and consciousness that will be with us in a united way, and that we will all become united in oneness, and how this is going to serve humanity. So I know we have all had moments where we've walked with a loved one that has a cross to bear. And so I invite you to just take a moment and bring to mind an experience. One perhaps with a loved one, or perhaps your own experience of where you are carrying a cross. And just notice, what are those feelings that come up immediately, that surface? Perhaps there's helplessness. Perhaps some hopelessness. a little bit of fear, giving way to anger. Perhaps there's a sense of being alone and unsupported. Again, just taking a moment. And what is your experience? Perhaps you're feeling those feelings of strength and courage to stand strong in the face of whatever cross it is that you are bearing. Having that compassion, feeling the compassion for yourself or for your loved one. And in the knowingness of knowing that we all experience bearing a cross of one sort or another, that we're inviting you to remember and to recognize and to know that we all have those Magdalena qualities within us that she demonstrated. And we have the power to remain present with those qualities, with that faith, with the strength, with the courage, in spite of the circumstances that we've created. So just be in that awareness of how whatever it is that you're picturing, imagining, where you are maybe today, bearing a cross or witnessing the cross of a loved one. And know that we have that ability to activate those energies of Magdalena. And just know what happens yourself. No matter, even if you are feeling that helplessness, the hopelessness, the fear, that you can welcome those feelings and then you can transmute them, shift them, and change them, transform them to those higher frequencies of strength and courage, of that love and compassion, and calling forth that faith. And then there is the forgiveness that Jesus spoke from the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That we have that ability to activate, to feel, to be that energy, embody that energy, that frequency of forgiveness.
The seeds were planted 2,000 years ago by the Christ Magdalena energy, frequency, so that we can cultivate those energies. We can let them grow. And we can help people planting their own seeds and growing them too. And I love, Megan, how you said that. You said, or I heard you say, the situation you created. What it means to me is that if I have created situation, I can uncreate them. I can uncreate or create something else. This is the message. This is, to me, the legacy, one of the legacies of Mary Magdalena, that I have the power to create. Despite anything around me, I can create how I am being present.
Beautiful, Caroline.
You inspired me.
It's the Magdalena in us that we are, that we all embody.
Yes.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And so, again, I invite us from this place in our hearts to remember and to reactivate today, in this moment, fully present here and now, the power that we have to call forth these energies and to strengthen them within us, and so that we can fully embody and be the Magdalenas, be the embodiment of those energies in our own life as we walk through these experiences, as creators of our own experience. And so let us now picture before us our beloved Magdalena, and feel in your heart her love for us, the love of Master Jesus, that they came to be present and to bring this energy of the divine feminine present. But bring that energy of that love into your heart. And let us together activate even stronger that strength and courage. And let's take a deep breath in together as we breathe in that energy. And exhale it, and with the power of our intention, sending it through every cell in our body. Activating, lighting up with this incredible light throughout our whole physical body and our energy bodies, so that we can stand in that strength and that courage in these times that are so challenging, and at the same time, opportunities to recreate. And then ask and intend that this strength and courage be anchored in your body, every cell and every organ, every tissue in your body, the physical body and our energy bodies. And know and trust it is done. And now I invite us to call forth and activate the energy of faith and forgiveness, so that we become the embodiments. These are the frequencies, the energies we already possess, so that we can emanate those energies fully. And so breathe that energy into every part of our physicality. Our energy field. Expanding that frequency of light. That ability to have that strong faith, to walk in faith, and to also forgive. And lastly, invite you to activate love and compassion. That great, great love in our hearts, the compassion for who we are and for all those who we affect in our lives. And then anchor that energy within you.
And the person towards whom you need to be self-compassionate is the person you are right now. If you wait until you achieve perfection, you may be waiting for a long time. In any case, the perfect person doesn't need your compassion. It's the imperfect person you are right now who needs it.
So compassion and love. So let us return to our hearts. And in great, great gratitude for knowing that you can call on, and we are all the embodiment of these energies. The strength, the courage, the faith, the forgiveness, love and compassion, and so many more. As we all experience our own unique journeys on this way of the cross. And so we thank you for being with us, for being here to witness the remembrance of Good Friday. And we invite you now to be in silence as we listen to this beautiful song by Chris Kearns.
Or
Light the
Magdalena
way.
sister. Yes, light the way.
Light the way for those who cannot see. Light the way for those who cannot feel you. Light the way for those who cannot hear you. For all who feel you. Light the way. Light the way for all those who are here. Light the way for those who cannot find you. Light the way for those who would remind you when you were kind, you would light So light the way for those who've gone before, and light the way for those who walk behind.